Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's almost Friday. So this time of year, I see a lot of people posting in social media and different groups, and they're asking, hey, what's a good soil builder? What's a good soil building mix? And I will come out and say I am 100% positive I have used that term inappropriately in the past. And through my own misunderstandings, as a younger food plotter or less experienced food plotter or less knowledgeable gardener or whatever it might be, I didn't use the word properly and kind of just used it more so as a buzzword than how I feel it's really meant to be used. And it's something that I'm passionate about because at Vitalize Seed we use a process, and I think that that's really critical is understanding that there's really, I mean, if you wanted to look at, hey, what's a good soil builder in the term in which people are using it, or in the way in which people are using it, really what you're looking for is what's something that puts on a lot of biomass quickly. But as far as impacting overall soil, physical, chemical, and biological structure, you're not going to see some massive improvement with one singular anything, really, for that matter. So I wanted to highlight a couple things. So, I went into Google. I said, what is soil building? And some of the things that came up is this link behind me. I think this is from New Zealand, and it talks about, soil building is a plant-driven process whereby carbon is sequestered from the atmosphere and locked into the soil. And in doing so, the change in overall biological, chemical, and physical structures happen in a beneficial way. So some of the things that talks about there, right, is the process, locking in carbon sequestration. Both of those things, if you go in and plant something, let's say buckwheat, something that's thrown around, Sudan is another one thrown around, oh, it's a great soil builder. Well, if I plant either of those crops and then go ahead and just till them in 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, I'm not doing anything to build a soil, right? All I'm simply doing is help to maybe and hopefully solubilize some nutrients that were tied up and then put them closer to the soil surface to then make those available for the next plant. But in one singular action, if I till all that under or something like that, you're going to lose most, if not all, of the carbon that was sequestered from that one singular planting. So I want you to keep that in mind. So to dive into a little bit more educational pieces, this is from Michigan State. They have a lot of really good resources. This is like 18 pages long, and I just took a couple snippets here. But it talks about if you're looking to build soils up, again, organic matter is kind of a byproduct of that. We've talked about that. But one of the things I want to highlight here is about halfway up above the bolded organic matter piece. It says a long-term management plan is required to improve soil and organic matter, feed beneficial soil microbes, and so on. It goes in further. It does list some short-term goals that we can achieve when practicing or implementing these type of processes. But really what we want to focus on, again, is if we want to build soils, we shouldn't look at this as a soil builder, but more so a program or a process into how we implement things in the short, middle, and long term in order to truly sequester carbon, increase microbial activities, increase fungal networks through no-till practices, and all of the 6 soil health principles. As you see, compared to the short-term goals, it cut off on me, but these are the long-term goals. So soil organic matter increasing, and these are not in any specific range. Soil organic matter increasing soil porosity, better water holding capacity, improved resistance to erosion. Obviously, if you're following 6 soil health principles, you have a constant root growing, etc. Improved soil carbon sequestration. They could also add to this better residue management or residue recycling, better microbial systems, less need for inputs, and the list goes on. But again, it's a process and a procedure, not a singular planting or singular crop that's going to make these things achievable. So at Vitalize Seed, some of the things that we really focus on is, diversity, carbon to nitrogen ratios, focusing on maximizing biological diversity in your soil. When we talk a lot about the biology below our feet, right, and how that's a massive network, and it's creates one heck of a lot of biomass. And you can understand why, I think, when you look. This is just rye. So just a singular monoculture of rye as a cover crop. And if you look at the root mass compared to the above ground biomass, The below ground biomass is probably, I don't know, I'm going to guess on this, but probably 60% of the overall biomass of the plant is below ground. And that's having root exudation, that's feeding microbes. In a good system, you're going to start to get more fungi involved, right? As we work from less disturbance, we're going to have a stronger fungal network. Now, every time we go ahead and till and reset that system, we're going to disrupt that fungal network. We're going to oxidize a lot of the nutrients that are in the soil, and we're going to rapidly combust a lot of the carbon sources that are in the soil. So, which can be good from that immediate perspective, right? Because you're going to get a lot of immediate nutrient release. So for that next crop, it's typically to leap out of the ground because it's essentially fertilizer, right? From a plant's perspective. But from building up the soil and sequestering more carbon, you're really setting yourself back. So what I want to highlight is that, for us, we use really diverse mixes. So you have this root mass times quite a bit, as long as the mixes are balanced and you're following carbon and nitrogen ratios so that one feeding of a crop is feeding the next, and so on and so forth. And that's why we've been able to make some really significant impacts on our soils in such a short time. And I'll show you some of those now. So here's one soil, obviously, that's been in the 1-2 system for a couple of years. Not much to show here other than you can see the aggregation, the rhizosheaths, which is sticking to the roots. That's due to microbial communications and basically biotic glues that are creating that stickiness and helping to aggregate the soil. Then, of course, you have all of those worms that are doing the tilling for us, and they're pulling, let's say, those phosphorus deposits that don't like to move very much to the soil, and they're in a rye straw or something like that, and those worms are shredding that, bringing that down into the root mat or root surface, and they're depositing it through defecating and things like that. Plus, their tunnels are aerating the soil, etc. And this is the last one I'll show you guys. This and the other picture, if you follow, you've probably seen those both. It was just the most recent ones in the camera roll that I took this year, and I'm really proud of the progress that we've made in a short time. This particular field's been in the 1-2 system for about 4 years. Obviously, I had it in there before I started the company, as I said on another video. This is an 8 CEC soil, or right around there, and it's pretty clear. I mean, we're breaking up compaction through roots. It was tempting to go in there with the tiller and things, but we haven't. We've stuck to the plan. We've been using no-till systems. We've been using our 1-2 system, and we are increasing carbon sequestration. We're breaking up compaction with root mass, and we're focusing on soil health. And we are using some lime when needed, but we are increasing our soil quality through the Vitalize 1-2 system. But the biggest key here that I wanted to touch on in this video is not just the Vitalize 1-2 system, but really I want people to take a step back. And when you hear somebody ask, or if you're going to say, this is a soil builder, soils can definitely be impacted faster than we had originally thought. Absolutely. It's been proven we can increase organic matter levels, we can increase biological diversity, etc. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. I have seen it myself. I have tested it myself. We can do it faster than what had been previously thought when you just calculate above ground biomass, or however it was calculated in the past. But it absolutely is not going to happen and increase soil quality and all of the other things we want to do, organic matter, microbial populations, nutrient cycling, in a singular plant. You're not going to plant a monoculture of buckwheat or monoculture of Sudan grass and all of a sudden say, oh, I increased my soil quality by a substantial amount. It's absolutely a process, and don't take my word for it. Check out some of the studies I put up there. The one I would definitely read through is that 18-page PDF from Michigan State University. I thought they did a very nice job, and there are several others, but I hope that you guys found that interesting. For more references on this, check out the video I did on several of the books that have also been good reference points there, and I hope you guys will continue to follow along. If you do like this stuff, please share, subscribe, and check us out at vitalizeseed.com.